Hello, Rosie here, and today we're going to do two forms of a seated spinal twist. From a physiological viewpoint, seated spinal twists are very important. They will help to improve and strengthen your lung function. We don't have any actual skeletal muscles in the lungs themselves. They depend solely on the diaphragm and also on the muscles in between our ribs, back and front, called intercostal muscles. And the beauty of these poses is it will make you use these muscles, and we use them so we don't lose them, right? So let's get into our first seated spinal twist and see how we go, and I will do my best to explain each stage of the poses as we go through them. First of all, we're going to straighten out both legs and have the legs straight out on the floor in front of us. Shoulders back, tailbone out, do your best to sit as tall and as straight as you can. Flex those feet, and as you flex, feel that wonderful stretch building behind the legs. Bend just your right knee and place the foot flat on the floor with the heel level with the left knee. First thing we do is get a nice straight back by holding around the knee, using the arms to push the ribcage forwards, draw the shoulders back and lengthen your neck so you're sitting as tall and as upright as you can. Now with just your left arm, I'd like you to bring it around, fold it over the right knee, pulling the knee in towards you, letting the forearm run down the outside of your thigh if you can. If you can't reach, if you can't do that easily, just use your hand. It's absolutely fine to modify each stage of every pose I do on my pages in whatever way works for you as the individual that you are. So you're either pulling the right knee in with the hand, or you folded the arm over and pulling the leg in with your whole arm. Quite often in a seated spinal twist, you'll see the arm straight or maybe bent the fingers facing the ceiling. I personally wouldn't recommend either of those arm positions simply because you lose the strength of your arm, and you need that arm to pull the knee in constantly throughout the pose. The pulling in of the knee is what brings the twist into the lumbar spine area. So the arm is in place, you're pulling in. Now we focus on the right arm and the right hand. Place the hand close to your body on the floor behind you and straighten your arm. And as you straighten the arm, you should feel the arm acting rather like a splint, and your back will straighten a little bit more too. Try to avoid leaning backwards. So have the hand as close as possible to your bottom, and the arm can be touching the back, that's fine. So you're pulling the right knee in with the left arm. The right arm is straight, you're sitting as tall as you can, you pull the right shoulder back, push your left shoulder forward, and now turn your head to your right, looking as far over your right shoulder as you can, and you are in this seated spinal twist. Now for the important bit, the breathing. You now need to take a really deep breath in, expand into your back rib cage, and you should feel a tightening in your upper back, particularly on the left-hand side. And if you do feel that, great work. Great work. That's exactly what we should be feeling. This is the activation of these very underused upper posterior intercostal muscles. So deep breath in, abs contracting as you breathe out. Again, deep breath. Never hurry the breathing. Make sure you're not leaning backwards. Make sure the back is still straight, left foot remains flexed. You're still pulling the knee in. Let's just do a couple more deep breaths here. You can really do as many deep breaths as you like in this position, however you want to. You can carry on a little bit longer. But for the sake of this video, we're now going to stop, release the pose, straighten out the leg, and now we have to do the other side. In Hatha Yoga, it's very important you always do each side of the body. So there's this yin and yang, this unity between the two sides of your body. So now we're going to turn the body around, facing the other way. You don't have to, of course. I'm just doing this for the sake of the video. Both legs out in front of you, feet are flexed, shoulders back, tailbone out, so you've got that lovely straight spine again. And now we bend the left knee. The left foot is flat on the floor, heel level with the right knee. The right foot is flexed, remember, so that leg is still getting a nice stretch. Using both hands around the left knee initially to get that lovely straight back, so ribcage forward, shoulders back. Now we try and fold the right arm around the knee, holding the knee in. Remember, you can use your hand by all means, otherwise the arm is folded, forearm running down the thigh if you can get it there. So you've got the hold of that arm to pull the leg in. Left hand close to your body, straighten your arms, your back has got its splint. Nice work. Now look as far over your left shoulder as you can and focus now on your breathing. Deep breaths, expand as you breathe in, contract as you breathe out, and again, deep breaths. So you really feel the tightening in your upper back, But you should now feel the tightening specifically is more on the right hand side. That is because the twist in your upper body causing those muscles to work a little harder, stretch a little more. Make the most of this position, expand and contract lovely slow breaths. Now if you're someone that gets puffed out easily when they run, for example, this kind of a movement is extremely important. Really focus on getting these muscles good and strong. They will then naturally expand the ribcage for you when you breathe in. That in turn means your lungs will have more space to inflate. Let's just do another 2 deep breaths. Long, slow breath out. And one more. Very nice, and release. So you should have felt that tightening in your upper back especially. That's our first spinal twist. The second spinal twist I'd like to show you is a little bit tighter. And I wouldn't recommend this one if you have a pre-existing knee problem. It won't harm the knees if there's nothing wrong with them in the first place, but I don't want to aggravate any pre-existing conditions you might have. And if that is you, then please stick with the first version, which is equally good from a medical or physiological viewpoint. So we have the knees bent. The first thing we're going to do now is just let the right knee drop out to the right hand side. It doesn't need to be on the floor, remember. Take hold of the right foot and just draw the heel up, placing the foot just underneath the left thigh. So again, that right leg to the right knee doesn't need to be on the floor. Use your hands, by the way, if you want to now. You're going to lift your left foot, cross it over the right knee and get the foot flat on the floor. It is important you keep that foot flat on the floor. It's going to want to peel off. If you push down the big toe of that foot, that should help you keep a nice flat foot on the floor. Again, use both hands first of all to pull the chest towards the thigh. Lovely tall spine. Well done. And now we're going to wrap the right arm around the knee, letting the forearm run down the outside of the thigh. Again, if you need to, hand is fine. Left hand, remember the splint of your spine. Close to your body, you straighten and feel how much taller your body gets. Looking as far over your left shoulder. And now those deep breaths again, expanding as you breathe in. Contracting as you breathe out. You should feel an even tighter sensation in your back this time. If you're attempting to, this one is, as I said, tighter, and you should really be feeling that. Try your best to really press into your upper back when you breathe in. Push the ribs as wide as you can. Long, slow exhales, keep that lovely tall body, and again, deep breaths. Remember, you are free to stop whenever you like, but otherwise we're going to just try a couple more breaths today. So you're looking as far over your left shoulder as you can all the time. Left shoulder is pulled back, right shoulder, the right hand side of the chest is pressing forwards. Let's take one more deep breath. Long, slow breath out and release. Gently release the legs. So we just have to do that now with the other side. So the knees are bent, feet are on the floor in front of you. And by the way, never rush into or out of a pose. Take each pose one stage at a time. Always take your time. It's safer that way. And also I think you end up in a much better end result too. So now we let the left knee drop out to the side, taking hold of the foot, bring the foot just underneath the right thigh. Doesn't matter how low to the floor that left knee goes, doesn't matter at all. Use your hands if you like. You're going to lift your right foot, cross it over your left knee and get the foot flat on the floor. Remember, you focus on the big toe of this foot to make sure your foot stays flat on the floor. Holding around the right knee, you sit tall as you can. By the way, this side of the bottom will have lifted off the floor a little bit. I should have said that the first time around as well. That's normal. Sitting tall, nice straight spine, pushing your chest forwards. We now wrap the left arm around the right knee, folding over the arm if you can. Hand is fine, but try and avoid, remember, this straight arm, which really takes a lot of strength away from the arm. We're pulling the knee in to get the spinal twist into the lower back. Right hand on the floor, close to your body. Straighten your right arm, look over your right shoulder, and now you take your deep breaths. So I want you to really focus on the rib cage this time. Press the ribs as wide as you can, and you should really feel the tightness there. Very, very underused muscles. Really get them to press wide. Long, slow breaths out. You should feel the resistance there. Beyond it, if you can, you're just pushing, pushing, pushing when you breathe in. Expanding as much as you can. Long, slow breaths out. So quite exaggerated breathing. Couple more. You're doing really well. Let's just do one more today. And release. Well done. So those are our 2 spinal twists. Feel free to do them as often as you can. Remember, especially if you do have any kind of lung problem, if you get puffed out easy when you run, remember, anything like that, try and do a twist every day if you can, a seated twist. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I see you again soon.